Welcome to Big League Dreaming, the podcast, a show about fulfilling your dreams and taking it to the next level. Whether it's baseball or life, we all just want to get better. Better as players, coaches, and teammates. Our mantra, life is built on dreams.
Ever since I was a kid,
oh yeah,
I was big league dreaming.
I was big league dreaming.
For as long as I live,
Always,
I'm big league dreaming.
I never got to bat in the major leagues. I'd have liked to have that chance, just once. To stare down a big league pitcher. Make him think you know something he doesn't. Chance to squint at a sky so blue that it hurts your eyes just to look at. To feel the tingle in your arm as you connect with the ball. To run the bases, stretch a double into a triple, and flop face first. Wrap your arms around the bag. That's my wish, Rick and Silla.
On today's podcast, you meet us, the Gonzalez family from Comstock Park, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez, a longtime baseball fan and former coach who has worked with players of all ages, from t-ball to the collegiate level. And I have three sons, Zach, Ty, and Zane, who all played collegiately and pursued their own big league dreams. What can you expect from this podcast? Well, we'll interview current and former players as well as coaches and instructors, and we'll dive deep on topics such as the MLB draft or how the college game is changing. Think of this as a dinner conversation with our family. And lastly, you'll hear from Zane, who still remains in baseball as the pitching coach at Indiana University South Bend, which just started their conference tournament this weekend. Me, I'm just a dad who hopes this podcast brings you a little inspiration to follow your big league dreams. Now, let's get to the show. All right, so Zane, I know you are in South Bend right now. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Driving to the field. Got to get it mowed for practice today so we can get prepped for the conference tournament this weekend.
Congratulations on reaching the conference tournament. You guys had to do a big sweep over the weekend, right?
Yeah, the conference tournament had a different setup this year with COVID. Everyone was making it, but the bottom six teams were going to have to play a play-in game, so we kind of had to either take 2 out of 3 or sweep to secure us a top 5 spot and not have to play a play-in game. And we had a tough task ahead of us, and we were facing the number 1 team coming into the weekend in the conference, and took all 3 from them and kind of ruined their season a little bit. And they couldn't become the conference champions anymore. So it was a good weekend for the team. The guys threw well on the mound. Offensively, we were good. Did our job on defense as well. So it's good to see the guys get some momentum going into the conference tournament.
Well, we've been catching up with all of the Gonzalez men. We talked to Zach, obviously, and your brother Ty, and just catching up on this podcast, Big League Dreaming, what it's supposed to be, and kind of what it's all about, and kind of a work in progress. But of all the Gonzalez men, I don't want to say boys because you're no longer boys. You're the one that's sticking into baseball. It looks like, at least for the immediate haul, like this is your career, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably when I was going into my senior year, I kind of knew that, playing professionally and that kind of dream was not really in the cards for me because the game's evolved so much. I wasn't a 90-mile-per-hour arm, and in today's game, if you're not throwing 90 plus, you're not going to get really many looks on the mound. So I kind of figured, I enjoy the game, I love the game, and I like to think that I was smart enough and a student of the game throughout my career that I wanted to stay in baseball as long as I could, doing something, whether it was, my degree was in journalism. So immediately I was like, okay, I want to go into sports journalism. But, a couple guys were like, hey, you should think about coaching. You talk a lot about a lot of good things when we're in the bullpen. You have a lot of good ideas. You should think about it. So I asked around some coaches I had played for, and Coach Bussey here, I said, hey, I'm thinking about going into coaching. Do you think that would be a good route for me? And every coach I talked to that I played for said, yes, you would be a phenomenal coach. So I decided to go that route, decided to become a GA right out of college, and went down to the University of Rio Grande, was a GA there for 2 years. Really loved it, so I just decided to stick with it, and this was going to be my career path, and hopefully one day I can have a program of my own.
Well, that would be great, and I'll be in the front row to cheer you on. But being the youngest of the 3 boys, was there pressure on you growing up? Do you feel like you just grew up around the game and you had to be better to play with your brothers? I mean, what was it like growing up as number 3?
I wouldn't say there was pressure. It was just kind of more like, when you grow up, you just see what your older siblings are doing, and that just kind of becomes what you do in a sense, because you think that's what needs to be done. So I saw them playing baseball all the time, so I just gravitated towards it. And I think having them, Zach and Ty, just being good mentors to me and loving the game and teaching the game to me as well as you know, going to Whitecaps games, always talking about baseball. Just, I don't know, I think it helped me become a good player and, you know, really become a good student of the game and learn the game more than just, you know, the simple things of, you know, where to throw the baseball. Is just, you know, really learning in depth about it, and it kind of broadened my knowledge of the game.
Well, we talked to Zach earlier. You know, Zach is a student of the game, as you know. He follows the Major League Baseball and minor leagues, you know, religiously. He can tell you this whole starting lineup for the AAA team in Seattle. Ty loves the game, but he's off doing his own thing on YouTube. He's a passionate person that works hard, you know. But you're in the game because you're developing players at the collegiate level at Indiana University of South Bend now. And like you talked about earlier, the playoffs coming up and everything. What are you seeing? Like you said that the game has changed a little bit in your playing careers, from high school ball to college ball to you went to junior college to 4-year college, then as a GA, and then now as a pitching coach at an NAIA school. How has the game changed for you, like say since, you know, high school?
I think what's really changed is the style of baseball that's being played. You know, that even like, because I'm only 24, so I graduated high school in 2014, so it's less than 10 years out since I graduated high school. And you know, back then it was, you need to be able to execute the short game. You can't live or die by extra base hits, and that's kind of evolved on the offensive side. Is there's a lot of philosophies of living or dying by the extra base hit, play for big innings. You don't really scratch for one run an inning. Now, with that being said, I think each team needs to kind of cater to their players and what's going to work best for them. Because that's kind of what we've done here at IU South Bend is, you know, we have a couple guys that can leave the yard at any given moment, but all around as an offense, we don't really have that. We're more of a line drive team. So there's times where we'll need to bunt and we'll need to sacrifice guys over into scoring position so the next guy behind them can hit a single and we potentially score more than one run. And then on the pitching side, you know, coming up, it was, you know, if you're 85 plus, you're a legit arm. But now it's if you're 85 plus, you're an average arm. I mean, that's just the way the game's evolved with technology and science and information that's so available to these players. Is, you know, they have access to learn how to get there. It's not just, hey, like this coach is telling you what to do, you have to do it. I like to tell all of our pitchers, like, I'm a collaborative coach. I'm going to work with you. We're going to find what works best for you to get to where you need to be in order to be successful.
Do you find though that these kids that are coming in out of high school and out of travel ball programs where they've had a lot of coaching for the most part, are they easy to work with, or are they stuck in their ways? What is the mindset of a player coming into college right now?
Right now, it's just it's a good mix. Like you'll get some guys that had really good experiences coming up, and you know they're willing to have better conversations with you, or they're more eager to voice their opinion and say, "Look, this doesn't work for me. Can we try something else?" And I'm always open to have those conversations. I'm never going to say, no, you have to do this one thing one way. But there's just a different mix now because, like I said, there's still some coaches out there that are saying you have to do things one way or you won't play.
Right.
So it's just kind of that finding that happy medium with guys and trying to develop relationships with players to where they're comfortable enough to voice their opinions to me and kind of find that two-way street between us of finding a way for us to work together to meet the one common goal, which is us winning at the end of the day. But it all ties into life as well, because when they go into the real world and when their baseball career is done, whether it's after us, whether it's after some sort of pro ball, they're going to have to get a job at some point in their life, and they're going to have to work with a boss at some point, and they can't just immediately fold right away. If they have a good idea, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. And that's kind of what I try and get across to our guys. And with kids coming up today, there's still some of that hesitancy in voicing their opinions.
Right. They're not as comfortable yet in their own skin.
Right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So have you been in touch with some of your friends, your former players, your teammates at the other levels, whether high school or in Kalamazoo at the community college level, and how are they handling post baseball?
I talked to a few guys that I lived with pretty regularly, almost every day, and we talk, and they're doing well. They definitely miss it. They miss it a lot, but I stay in contact with some players from the Kalamazoo Growlers up in the Northwoods League. Actually, one of them just got assigned to South Bend, so I'll probably be seeing him quite a bit around here. He's in the Cubs system, so he just got assigned to High A. But it's good to see that a lot of it carries into the real world. A lot of the stuff we learn here, the attention to detail, the commitment, it all translates into the real world. Here we don't do a lot of early morning stuff, which is kind of nice for our guys. But at Rio Grande, we did a lot of early morning stuff. It was pretty strict as far as, guys had to be clean shaven. They had to have their hair cut to a certain length. It was kind of like the Yankees where they got to be clean shaven because it was kind of setting them up for that real world where, look, if you get a job, there's going to be restrictions and guidelines of how you need to look in order to represent the business and the company or whatever it is you're working for.
Right. Well, good luck with the conference tournament. Being in South Bend, you're probably excited for the summer too. You'll be able to see some minor league baseball, which is just getting underway.
Yeah, that'll be nice. It'll be nice to have some minor league baseball around, and being able to catch some games in town will be nice.
Well, I know in future episodes, I want to talk to you about the draft, which will be coming up later this summer, and whether you have players that are going to be drafted or maybe players that were drafted and how they panned out through the COVID year, Yeah. We'll talk more about that later, but we should tell people about your biggest claim to fame, don't you think?
Yeah, sure. Let it eat.
Because you are Zane Gonzalez, right? And a couple of years ago, you were actually on ESPN for being Zane Gonzalez, but not the Zane Gonzalez, the baseball player, but a different Zane Gonzalez.
Yeah, the kicker. I think he's with the Cardinals now, or he might have gotten released. I don't know. I haven't really followed up on him, but he was with the Browns when I was my first year as a GA, and it was when they were still on that losing streak, and he could have kicked a game-winning field goal to win it, and he missed it. It would have they would have finally won a game. He missed it. They ended up losing. I started getting all these crazy tweets from fans, like telling me to go stub my toe, and I ruined their season. And I'm like, look, I'm at practice right now. I don't know what you're talking about. So that I kind of sent a tweet out of a screenshot, and it blew up, and it went viral, and I was on Intentional Talk with Kevin Millar and Chris Rose, so that was pretty cool. Got to talk to those guys.
But I'm sure you dreamed, in Big League Dreaming, you dreamt about being on ESPN, right?
Oh, yeah. Every kid dreams of, getting those interviews on those huge platforms, so it was pretty cool to go through that experience and kind of see what it's like on that side of baseball, of how they do it. It was kind of weird. Like, they said, like, hey, here's I think I still have it, like the FaceTime number that I had to call at a certain time, and it was pretty much like I couldn't even see the guys. Like, it was just a black screen.
And you had to talk about being Zane Gonzalez. You were great. You handled it well. It was a great thing for your college, right? The guys at Rio Grande were pretty excited about it.
Yeah, like it was good because Rio Grande got some publicity. Like, people heard about the school some more. I think we got a lot of recruits emailing us after that. A lot of student athletes were filling out a recruiting questionnaire, so it was good for us. It was good for the university. It was a lot of fun while it all went down. Hey,
to wrap things up, Zane, I've been asking the other guys the same question. Like, I'm hoping that people of all ages listen to the podcast, coaches, young kids, older kids. What would you say to just that, 10, 12-year-old that loves the game, not sure what they want to do with it, but, how would you encourage them to just keep working? What would you say to them?
Just understand that you're going to struggle in this game. And it's a game of failure. You're going to struggle. And what you do when you struggle is the biggest thing. Do you put your head down and just kind of give up in a sense, or do you find a way to learn from it and move forward? I tell our players all the time. I tell them all fall, all winter. Failing is growth, and failure is just quitting. So if we can find a way to turn our failings into growing, we'll be way better off than just rolling away and quitting and giving up on ourselves. You got to have a level head in this game, and you got to find a way to learn every single day. At some point, there's always something to learn in this game. So that's kind of the biggest thing I tell guys is always find a way to learn something every day, and you'll be better off when you move forward.
That's great advice. You guys are a lot more articulate than I am, I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the coaches I worked under. I don't know.
Not you, Dad. It was the coaches that I worked under. All right. Well, hey, good luck at the conference tournament, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
All right. See you, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Ty here from Big League Dreaming Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at BLDPod. That is at BLDPOD. We'd love to hear from you.
Rise and shine. 6 a.m. and your hand can't make it to the alarm clock before the voices in your head start telling you that it's too early, too dark, and too cold to get out of bed. Aching muscles lie still in rebellion, pretending not to hear your brain commanding them to move. A legion of voices are shouting their unanimous permission for you to hit the snooze button and go back to dreamland. But you didn't ask their opinion. The voice you've chosen to listen to is one of defiance. A voice that says there was a reason you set that alarm in the first place. So sit up, put your feet on the floor, and don't look back, because we've got work to do. Welcome to the grind.
Yes, I got a dream. I'm talking that kind when you really can't sleep. Yeah, you know what I mean? I always been dreaming since I was 13. Working that barn we would freeze. Taking my cuts off that tea. Yeah, doing planks till I fell to my knees. And I'm running till I couldn't breathe. See, I was getting in shape cause I wanna get better. Like 15 degrees, didn't matter the weather. Believe me, we just throwing 3 different sweaters. Give it all that I got, I just wanna throw cheddar. I'm talking that gas, real fast. I'm lifting these weights till I feel real bad. If you look me in the face, yeah, you know I'm gonna laugh. If you step up to the plate, I'ma throw it right past, right by you, Louisiana. I'm a storm typhoon with some decent manners. Number 31, homie, read the banner. When I'm playing in the spring, I'm a CP Panther, and I'm proud of that. I'm dreaming one day that the crowd is packed. I wanna make it to the show, say you sounding whack. But through all these dreams and all these things, think I found my path. Like, whoa, yeah, my senior year, I got a college offer, everything was clear. I was ready to leave, I didn't wanna be at home. I just wanna be free and just go out on my own. Like every other kid in the school, didn't wanna live by the rules. So I took it and I ran with a big league dream. Big league dream. Here I come, Gazo. Ever since I was a kid, I was big league dreaming.
Big League Dreaming.
For as long as I lived.
That's right.
Said I'm big league dreaming. Ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was big league dreaming.
I was Big League
For
Dreaming.
as long as I lived.
Oh yeah, always.
I'm big league dreaming.
Oh my, the grind never stopped. Got way tougher, less time on the clock, like going to class.